Hey, hi all, good morning.
Hi, Dilip.
Yeah. So in our previous class, we were talking about profiles and what is a profile and what is a, then we have talked about users. Yeah. So what is a profile? It's just a set of permissions given, assigned for users on an organization. And then we talked about what is standard profile, what is custom profile, and the best practice is to clone the existing profile and create a custom profile because standard profiles are editable only to up to some extent, and also they cannot be removed. So the best practice is to create a custom profile, cloning the existing one, and make necessary changes whichever you want, so that this can be fully editable and also removable from the org. And then, so by using profiles, we give grant access to so many things which in within our org. Yeah, objects, tabs, applications, operations, page layouts, and Apex classes, system settings, custom settings, system permissions, Apex triggers, Visual Force pages. So all this we can give access based on the profile we are assigning. Okay, so any missing permission, probably you the go-to place is that this particular person's profile or the user's profile is not having this kind of permission. So that's where, and each profile should be associated with one license, and the license, and each profile can be assigned to more than one users. Okay, so yes, and then we checked how to create a profile. So we created our uh, Salesforce. We have created a profile, our Minds Salesforce profile, and then we have assigned it to the user as well. Okay, so this is the navigation. Yeah, I'll share these notes to you. Okay, so hope you have completed your assignments. Create two profiles. One is standard user, and then platform profile. One is Salesforce profile, one is platform profile. Hope you have created these profiles. So yesterday in our class, we have created this already, but this one is part of assignment. So did you get a chance to create profile on your org?
Oh, yes, Dilip.
Okay, okay, good. All right. So yeah, it's all like again, all the settings you will have to understand, and what all things we need to provide while creating a profile. All these things you will have to understand. But yes, we can edit the profile also. So whenever we want. So based on our requirement. And coming to the users, we talked about the user management, what a user is. So user is a person within our Salesforce org. So yes, as we talked already, so for our Salesforce developer org, we were the only one user we were using. So yesterday we have created another user called development user. So yes, the scenario, the real-time scenario is like this. So whenever a person joins in an org and he joins in a Salesforce team, so a new user will be created for him and then assigned to him based on his role. If he's a developer or Salesforce administrator, so based on his role, um, a user will be created for him, and then a profile is assigned and a license is assigned to his user. Okay. So how to create a user? We have already created a development user within our Salesforce org as in yesterday's class, and how to activate that account, which comes to like an email is sent for activation and verification, and also for you to create your own new password. So once it is activated, we can log in using our new user ID. So hope you had a chance to complete the remaining user creations on your Salesforce org. Okay. So yes, this is needed because the next topic we are going to talk is roles. So once if the users are created on our Salesforce developer org, then we can be proceed to uh, assign a role for each of this user based on our requirement. So yes, if you have done it, it's well and good. If not, go ahead and create all the 4 users on your Salesforce. Okay. Okay. So let me go to my Salesforce org. Okay. So here, so on the go to our application, and from there we go to our setup menu, because we are making sure we are doing this only on our application related Salesforce org. Okay. So here we search for profiles. Okay, so these are the profiles which we already have, and yesterday we have created this. Uh, where is our profile? Right, this is the one which we have created yesterday, and as part of assignment, I asked you to create another profile, that is Armin's platform profile. Okay, so this is Salesforce profile, and you create another platform profile by cloning any of the existing platform profile. Okay, so that's the task which was given yesterday. So when we go to users, okay, so these are the users, and yesterday we have created the development user and the manager user. So 2 users we have created. So let's go ahead and create other 2 users because we need them for our role assignment as well. That's the reason I'm creating customer user. So go ahead and create new user. I'm just giving the generic names again. You are free to use whatever name you want. So if you see, I will have only the platform license. Okay. Salesforce license is completed. So Salesforce platform license I'm giving, and profile, I would be selecting standard. So platform profile you haven't created. So just go ahead and create a platform profile so that it will be displayed here. So we have created only the Salesforce profile. Go ahead. Remaining part of our assignment was to create a profile for Salesforce using the Salesforce platform. Okay. So go ahead and create a profile for Salesforce platform user so that this will be displayed, that particular profile will be displayed here. Okay. And all the details I'm just keeping as it is. Click on save. Okay. So data.com licenses are not there. That's why the user is not created. Sorry. So don't check that checkbox because again, this is our free developer edition. So at least they gave us 2 users, Salesforce users. Okay. So remember that, but there are limitations since it's our developer edition, free developer edition. Should be good. Okay. So customer user I have created and one is testing user. So go ahead and create testing user. Okay, it's not allowing the same mail ID. Yeah, good. So we created the remaining 2 users, that is testing user and the customer user. Okay, so we have the, so we assigned the platform, standard platform profile. Okay, so yeah, this is our creation of users on our Salesforce server. Okay, right. Uh, so let's go to our roles. So on our any kind of new Salesforce, or not only in a Salesforce, I would say, but any kind of organization. So we have these roles. Okay. So roles means it's uh, designation along with the set of responsibilities given to a user on any organization. Okay. So means uh, for us to, so we have created 4 different roles, right? So we will need to have a hierarchy for us, to, in order to um, keep the security in place, because the records which I create, my peer should not be able to view it. Only my manager has to view it, right? So in order to create that kind of hierarchy, we have a topic that is called role hierarchy. So roles are nothing but it's just again when we, so for any kind of organization, if we see, so we will have the roles like, let's say, CEO, and we will have the roles So we have the C-level roles, the CEO, that is Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Technology Officer. So under Chief Technology Officer, we will have multiple other roles like Vice President or SVP, Senior Vice President. And under this Vice President, we have the few other roles like Program Manager. And under the Program Manager, we have a role like Project Manager. And under our Project Manager, we have other roles like, let's say, Technical Lead or something. And under this Technical Lead, we will have multiple other roles, which is like Senior Software Engineer or Associate Software Engineer or Software Engineer. So something like that. Okay. So we'll have this roles. And this we have this hierarchy in any kind of organization. Let's take an example of, let's say, sorry, TCS. So I had experience working there. So there we had the CEO, CFO, COO, and CTO, and we have SVP, VP, project manager, sorry, program manager, project manager, and then technical leads, technical architects, and under them the team comes with the team leader, and then senior software engineer, associate software engineer, software engineer trainee. So we have multiple roles like this within any kind of organization. So based on these roles, we will have to make sure the data is being exposed to all the level of people or how it is. So that's the reason we have a concept of role hierarchy within Salesforce, where we are going to hide the data based on the roles which we are assigned, and based because I need to show my data of my Salesforce org only to my manager and none other than him, because I just want to give him the I just want him to know that what all the things I'm being working on and where it went till date and what's the status of it. Okay, so let's take an example of suppose I'm working in an office, and daily morning my manager assigns me few tasks, and end of the day I should give him an update on that particular task, like the status of the task to the manager. Okay, so today what happened is he has assigned me, like any other day, he has assigned me some tasks, and I have completed most of the tasks, and then I went home. Okay, so I forgot to send him a mail that this is the status of the task uh, on which was assigned for today. So then at the midnight around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., my manager calls me and asks me, what's the status of your task? So yes. So, and then I will have to explain him that uh, the status, but yes, because I forgot to send him a mail, right? So this is what happens usually. But in Salesforce, we have something called role hierarchy, where your manager can be able to access and see the status of whatever you are doing, the records which you are creating. So he knows what are all the tasks assigned to you for the day, and he can see the status of each task on your Salesforce arc, like what all records you were working, what all the objects you have created, what all the data loads you have done for the day. So all those he can be able to view just because he is assigned as your manager on the role. Okay, so on the role hierarchy. So that is the reason we need to configure the role hierarchy, and it is used to make, subordinates records to be visible to the manager by default. So subordinates, when I say the below, okay. So my manager, I'm below my manager. So my records information will be able to be visible to my manager by default. So that's where the role hierarchy is defined. So when a subordinate creates a record inside the object, so it will be visible to his manager uh, automatically. And we can configure the role hierarchy in the organization based on the business requirement. Of course, in the real time scenario, we usually don't configure, but when it comes to our example, the organization of 10,000 employees, we have sales users, we have service users, we have marketing users. So there I would make sure we configure the hierarchies, just because that is very important. Because as a service user, I don't need to see the information of a sales user or whatever the work the sales user has been doing so far. So it's important for us to configure the role hierarchy. So all the users, all the roles information will get, uh, captured in an object, a standard object called user role object. The roles information will be captured. And so I'll show you how we are going to check out the roles on our Salesforce org. Okay, so go to our Salesforce org. Okay, so on our application, again, go to the setup. From setup in the quick find box, search for roles, and you can see the roles, right? Click on roles. So here you can click on setup roles, and then you can configure the roles. Okay. So a sample is shown here as an example. So CEO, the executive staff, and CFO, sales, and then we have directors into specific departments, and within director, under the sales director, we have sales representatives belonging to different regions. Okay. So this is how roles are configured. So you can go ahead and set up a role, click on setup role, and then create a role on your organization, Salesforce org. Yeah. So yes, we are going to do that after making a note of this. Okay. So this is about the roles on your Salesforce org. So okay, so in after creating the roles, you have a question. Okay, so whether my uh, records are getting visible to my subordinates. Okay, so in our example, like so, let's say the team leader records will be visible to the project manager, but the team leader has a doubt whether his records are getting visible to his subordinates. So that's the question. So that we can do a practical of it and check it. But since we need to activate multiple users, so I'm not doing it, but you can do it with multiple email IDs. I need to activate all the users. So you can create all the 4 users which we have talked about, and then activate those users, and then see whether we are able to uh, whether that suppose so here associate software engineer, so he creates a record, it will be visible to the team leader. So you go to the team leader user, log in as a team leader user, and see whether you when you create a record whether it is visible to associate software engineer or not. So that's the scenario. So usually by default it is visible, but for us, in order to make sure it's not visible to the subordinates, So we have another concept called organizational organizational wide defaults, OWDs. Okay, so OWDs we call. So we have these settings called organizational wide defaults. So it's a kind of sharing settings which is used. Why we call it as organizational wide is this settings is applicable for all the users who are present across our organization. So that's the reason we have this organizational wide settings. So OWD options are used to define, the level of access of a record inside the organization. So when a user creates a record, like we were talking here, so if an associate software engineer creates a record, this will be visible to a team leader. So if we configure them in the role hierarchy, but for if the same, if we reverse the scenario, if a team leader creates a record, will it be visible to his subordinates, that is associate software engineer? Yes, it will be visible, but we will have to configure the organization-wide defaults. So we have to make settings on the organization-wide defaults so that it will be applicable to all the users across the org, so that the team lead records are not visible to his subordinates. Okay. So OWD options are applicable, only at the object level. So these are not defined at record level, field level. So they are applicable only at the object level. So irrespective of the profile inside the organization, this OWD settings, whichever we are going to do, that will be applicable to every user on our Salesforce app. So by default, the Salesforce provides a set of OWD options, which are like one is private, second one is public read only, third one public read write, fourth one is public read write transfer, fifth one public full access, sixth is no access, seventh is use, and eighth view only, ninth is controlled by parent. So while we were talking about relationships, we have come across one relationship. What is that? Which is related to our roles. That is the hierarchical relationship. So if you are in configured in a role hierarchy, so your automatic role hierarchical relationship will get applied to you if you are configured on a roles. So that means a senior vice president, and then under him the vice president, and then under him program manager. So something like that. So that's how a role hierarchy works, and we have this role hierarchical relationships. Okay, so okay, so let's go ahead and make some notes of this, the role hierarchy. Right. So role hierarchy is used to make subordinates records to be visible to the manager by default. That is, when a subordinate creates a record inside the object, it will be visible to his manager. So we can configure the role hierarchy inside the organization based on the business requirement, and we can assign the roles to the users. So which we are going to do now. A user should be associated with only one role, but a role can be assigned to one or more users. So in our example, so the C-level roles, usually it will be assigned to one person. But if you say senior software engineer, is it only going to be one person in the whole organization? No, it can be assigned to multiple people across the organization. So when you say associate software engineer, when you say software engineer, so it can be assigned to multiple people across the organization. So usually C-level roles will be assigned to only single person across the organization, because these are higher level roles. And yeah, so and all the roles information, it gets resides in user role object. And yes, we have seen this navigation, how where we can find the roles related information. Okay. So now our task is we will configure the below role hierarchy and then assign the roles. Okay. So this is the role hierarchy, how it looks like, and assign the below roles to the users. So we are going to do this. Right. So let's go to our org. Okay, on the Salesforce org on our application, let's go to click on setup. Search for roles on the quick find box. Click on roles. I'm repeating this because this navigation is important for you and you need to remember sometimes. Okay, so once we are on the roles page, go ahead, click on setup roles. Okay, so here you can see the logged in username is already there. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to add roles as in our assignment. So CEO will be the logged in user and CFO manager user. Okay, CEO, I'm adding, click on add role. So here for the CEO role, it's already there. So this is our org, our names, and under that we have CEO role, and under CEO we have multiple roles. CFO. If you click this plus sign, you have the subordinate roles being displayed. Okay. So under C level, yeah, we have. So here we have CEO, CFO, COO, and CTO. COO is there, CFO is there, CEO. So we need a CTO, right? So add role. So create a CTO role. This role reports to the our org. CTO and then save. It should be creating this role. Okay. So let's go to the roles again. So here you can see now CEO, CFO, COO. Okay, right? So yes, after this, you can assign the roles as well. So you have created a role and then you are assigning a user to this particular role. Okay. So how can we assign a user to this particular role? Here we have assign button. So CEO, I'm assigning the currently logged in user. So myself. You can select. You can select for as we were saying. Um, so senior software engineer or associate software engineer, there will be multiple people, right? So in that case, we can create that roles and assign to multiple people at a time also here. Okay. So CEO role, I'm assigning it to the currently logged in user and clicked on save. And CFO, So we are assigning okay. So here in the CEO, I'm assigning the currently logged in user. So we haven't selected. So here, if you see so many things, it is saying the users shown in the selected users are listed currently assigned to role CEO. To assign other users, you can make the changes, right? Okay. So here the role is CEO, and I have this person already added. And yeah, okay, save. So now it should be displaying CEO. So CFO, I'm going to add, and CFO will be the manager user. Okay, we haven't verified the manager user, so I'm adding development user as CFO. Okay, since I have created the users, but I haven't verified those users, it is giving me some errors. So you will have to verify your users and then do it. So yesterday I have done the verification for my development user. Let's see. So you can go ahead and create your roles, whichever you want. And for each role, you can assign a user based on the requirements. So you can assign the users also. You can create the roles. So the roles which we need is CEO, CFO, COO, and CTO. Under CTO, we have VP. So these are the roles which you are going to create. And you are going to assign the users for each role. That is CEO as the currently logged in user, that is yourself, the system administrator for your Salesforce org, and the CFO is the manager user, COO as customer user, CTO as development user, and VP as the testing user. Okay, so we are going to add the roles first and then add the user, assign those roles to the users. So this is the task for assignment. Okay, so let's discuss. So OWD is nothing but it's a organization by default. So it is also called sharing settings. Okay, sharing settings in the Salesforce org. So when a user creates a record, the record should be visible to whom. We can decide based on the OWD, based on the sharing settings. So OWD options are available only at the object level. So we can't dig into the record level and field level. So for that, we have other option. What is that? Can anyone answer? To have a security at the field level and record level. So we have discussed that topic. Anyone can answer? Or anyone remember?
Uh, Sharing rules.
What is it?
Sharing rules.
Okay. Yeah.
For
Anyone
record.
else? Right. Yeah. Sharing rules we haven't discussed so far, but yes, that is we have other topic again. Okay, we'll be
Oh, you mean to
discussing.
say?
But
So you're
yes,
saying
we can
through
have
profile?
yes, profile. Profile is the right one for now. So we have discussed that. So to give security to our objects at the record level, at the field level. So we are taking help of profiles for now. Yes, we have sharing rules and sharing settings, which we are going to discuss, and types of sharing settings, automated and manual. Yeah, we are going to discuss that. Okay. So for now, it's like we can manage a field level security, making use of the profiles. Okay. So here in OWD or sharing settings, we just have the option to do the security up to the object level only, not to the record or field level. It's only up to the object level. So option will be applicable to all users irrespective of the profile on the organization. So Salesforce provides the below OWD options. That is, yeah. So we have this 9 OWD options. So private, public read-only, public read-write, public read-write transfer, public full access, no access, use, view only, and controlled by parent. So all these have their specific meaning. And so private, when you say private, it should be visible only to me, kind of. Public read-only, everybody can see but cannot edit. Public read-write, everybody can see and everybody can edit as well. Public read write transfer. So this transfer option has got some other meaning. So we have an object called case. We have object called lead. So these objects, case object can be transferred to, so it can be assigned to another associate. So it can have transfer option also. So that's one of the permission given here. Public full access. So this is usually complete access, I would say. No access, so we are not giving access to anyone. So we have we have uh, an object called price book, so which is not given access to everyone. So use view only, it's just we can see controlled by parent. Can you remember of something when you see this controlled by parent? Anyone? So already discussed topics. I'm asking question only on the already discussed topics. Okay. Controlled by parent. Can anyone remember of anything?
Parent-child relationships.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, controlled by parent, you should be remembering of relationships topic, and in that specifically the master detail relationship, where this particular setting is applicable, because the child is fully controlled by the parent. So for the master detail relationship, so that is one option. So here we have summary of where each option is applicable. Let's go ahead and discuss. So private, public read only, public read write options will be applicable to all standard and all custom objects except price book. So this is an exception. That's a standard object again. Okay, so these 3 options usually are applicable on all the objects in all the standard, all the custom objects in our Salesforce org, except the price book. And public read write transfer option will be applicable only for lead and case objects, because this particular uh, setting has an option called transfer. So lead and case objects only it is applicable. Public full access option will be applicable only for campaign object. Okay, no access, use, view only options will be applicable for price book object. So these 3 options are applicable for price book, and controlled by parent will be applicable for child objects associated with master detail association. So this is like, all these are again not, they are specific to the type of objects also. Okay. So first 3, all the standard objects, all the custom objects, except one standard object, price book, read write transfer, lead and case objects. Full access, it's campaign object. No access, use, view only is price book object. Controlled by parent is any child object. who are related in master detail relationship, any child object. Okay, either it be standard or either it be custom, any object which is related in master detail relationship. Okay, so this is the navigation for doing our sharing settings or organizational wide defaults. So go to setup, sharing settings, and then go to organization wide defaults, edit, and then we can select the option. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, let's go to our org. So on org, go to this application, and from there you click on setup, and from in the setup, you go to the quick find box and type sharing settings. Okay, this page displays your organization sharing settings. These settings specify level of access your users have to each other's data. So here you can see organizational wide defaults, right? So these are the defaults which our organization is maintaining. But if we want to edit, we can edit because we are the system admin for this particular org. So if you see this settings here, so lead object, it has public read write transfer as the access, account and contract, public read write, contact, controlled by parent. Okay, opportunity, public read write, campaign, public full access, case, public read write transfer, campaign member, controlled by campaign. Campaign member is a standard object which is related in master detail association with campaign object. That's the reason it's controlled by campaign. User, public read only. Activity, calendar, price book. Price book has use as the default access, organization wide default. Price book, public read, sorry, product, public read write, individual voice call. Let's see our custom objects. So where is our custom objects? So these are all, okay. You can see our custom objects here, right? So candidate object, hiring manager, position, prospect. See, prospect we have controlled by parent. Okay. So because we have related uh, prospect object with hiring manager in master detail association. So that's the reason it will. So in the previous versions of previous releases, I would say this line would not be displayed in the previous releases, but I think they recently have uh, made it visible on here. But if you in the previous releases, even this prospect object would not be visible here. That means we should understand that, oh, we have a custom object prospect, but it is not visible here. That means we will have to understand that prospect object is in master detail relationship, and the prospect object is the child object in that relationship. So that's why it is not visible here. In the previous releases, it was like that, but I think recently they have done this change. So even the prospect is really visible here, but it is controlled by parent. So that is what displayed on its settings. So if we want to go ahead and change any of this organization wide defaults, you can click on edit and do whatever the changes you want. Okay, but if you see, so if you see these options, it will have all the top level permissions, but not the below. So it has these 4 permissions. So we can give any one of them, but usually it's transfer. Okay. And read write. So we don't have an option like read write transfer here, right? Only case will have and the lead object will have. So if we go to, where is it? Campaign. So we can have private, read only, read write, and full. So all the top level options we have. That is like under full access, we can have all this. So that's the reason they mentioned this type of accesses. So let's go to our custom objects. Yeah, so we can make our
Hello.
custom objects. Yes.
Yeah, Dilip, we have another meeting.
Mhm. So do
Yeah.
you want me to close?
Yeah. How much time it takes like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
complete this
I'll
topic?
close in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right. So, see, if we want our custom objects not to be visible to anyone, we can go to organizational wide default sharing settings and in that OWD and come here and then make our hiring manager as private only. Okay. So that means this hiring manager object will not be visible to, the accessible to others, but it will be accessible only to me. Okay. So if we make it as private, but I want it to be available to other users, which I just created the development users and all. So I'm making it as public read write. So these are the default settings which we can make, and it usually we don't touch it. We have the settings done for once, and it's applicable for all the users on our Salesforce org. Okay, so that's how it is. But in case